All right, Mob, welcome back to your 4th and 31 podcast. I'm your host, D Chad, along with Coach Bo, and this is a very special edition of Coach Talk, as we're going to get into a couple of top 10 lists, a G5 helmet, a Power 4 helmet. We're going to talk about my sorry bracket that's just completely destroyed on the left side. I don't even really want to talk about it, but Bo brought it up because he's winning his pool. Who cares? And if Bo will let me, we're going to talk a little opening day in the Braves. Not going to start this year 0-7. I'm more excited about this because it is officially baseball season.
Oh, Bolick, you
But
you know I'm a Braves fan too, brother. We're going to watch the Braves when we're off during spring break, man. They're going to play the
yeah,
Marlins. It'll be the first time we've watched them play since they opened we went the opening series when they opened the new stadium that year. And I haven't been back, so we're really looking forward to it. And
all right.
I ordered me a Dale Murphy throwback jersey, the light
I
blue.
got one. I got one.
And yeah, a jersey, not a T-shirt.
No, I've got, yep,
It's one of the good ones with the stitched in
yep,
lettering. And then I also
I
got
got
a
that.
royal blue. I found it on eBay, a royal blue for like 40-50 bucks. Dale Murphy BP top from the 1981 edition. The royal blue says just Braves on the
Yeah.
front. I thought that was pretty cool too. So I got both of those. I'm ready to go.
Well, since we kind of started with baseball, let's go ahead and start with baseball, and we'll get into the other stuff. Braves are not going to start the year 0-7 as they kind of blast the Royals 6-0 game one, 6-2 game two. But you had to wait a while. Game two, they scored 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth. Dominic Smith with a huge grand slam to walk off. They said that's the first player I think in Major League history to hit a walk off grand slam in his first game that he's played, so that's exciting. Game one, Chris Sale is Chris Sale. Game two, Lopez pitched a hell of a game, only gave up the 1 run, deserved to get the win, but the Braves decided to, um, score extremely late in that game. So they start off 2-0 at at the time of this taping. They're 2-0, trying to go for the sweep against the Royals. Very exciting. I can't wait. I'm a huge Braves fan. And speaking of the last time I was there, the second to the last time I was there, I took my son and we watched them play in the 2021 NLCS against the Dodgers, game one and game six. And game six, everybody knows that was a game they clinched the NLCS. I've got video from that. It's probably the greatest sporting event I've ever been to. That and probably the 2018 SEC championship game where Hertz came in to relieve Tua that game. But you know, I think we're gonna try to go to a game two this year. Hadn't decided yet, but we'll probably go because I'm so excited about baseball this year. It can't get any worse than what it did last year for the Braves. Any last comment for the Braves before we get onto these lists?
Yeah, I mean the Braves they knew what they were doing last night. They were just playing possum. They were just making it a little dramatic. Early in or especially early in the season like this, there's nothing like the opening day / opening weekend of a major league season. If any of you out there are not baseball fans, I know the major league season gets long. I mean, you're talking about 162 games. It lasts forever. It seems like it lasts forever, especially you get in August, July and August, post All-Star break and a lot of teams are out of it but right now is a great time for baseball, especially because it hadn't gotten hot yet. Of course, the bats hadn't got warmed up. I'm big on weather. Okay, so I've always believed that baseball gets better as the season goes because the 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 players get more at bats. They see the live pitching more, and I think there's a direct correlation there. But with that, there's teams that get put out and they're just kind of going through the motions. They're rebuilding. Like you get All-Star break, and there might only be, you know, I mean, half the teams are done, and they know they're done. But ultimately, there always seems to be one team that kind of comes out of the ash heap and makes a run at the end of the season. So I've always said the beginning of the season is great because it's that freshness, that newness. The weather's cool. The anticipation, everybody thinks they're good right now. And then the end of the season, because there's always a team that kind of makes a run. So it's in the middle where I think a lot of fans get lost.
Yeah, a quick shout out to our buddy Mark Eubanks. He was at the game last night, so he picked a hell of a game to go to.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah, he had videos and everything. It was pretty cool. All
Oh,
right,
that's awesome.
without further ado, let's get into these top tens. We'll obviously start with the G5.
Yeah.
Bo, go ahead and
So,
start us out.
so again, my disclaimer always when I do these lists, these are my lists and I make them the way I want them. And if you don't like them, make your own list. Again, it's just something fun to do while we're waiting to get through spring ball before we really start breaking these rosters down. And we get to that last quote unquote transfer period. That's not a transfer period. I'm very interested to see what happens in May when there's a window there where players can leave. Anyway, so without further ado, we're going to start with my top 10 G5 helmets, okay, and logos on helmets. Number 10, the East Carolina Pirates. I love that. I love their pirate logo. It's cool. It's a little bit different looking. I'm also a little biased toward East Carolina. Yeah, East Carolina. I'm way down here in Mobile. But in our bowl game, the first couple years, East Carolina played in it. I think a couple times, and they were involved in that game, that epic game with Byron Leftwich, where he led that. It was like a 30-point fourth quarter comeback for the Marshall Thunder and Herd, and then just to watch them play here. And I've kind of always kept it with them over the years. I mean, I'm not big on the purple. Okay, I'm not big on purple as a football color. We'll work on that, but just as far as the logo, pretty cool looking logo. Number 9, the Wyoming Cowboys. I mean, you've got a cowboy riding a it looks like a what do you call it? Like a wild horse, like a horse that hadn't been broken, a bucking bronco. And it's really cool because again, it's the only one of its kind. So I'm one of these ones. You don't have to give me flash. You don't have to be like Oregon and have the middle child syndrome and change your helmets every single game to look cool. I like originality, and I like the stick to itiveness to stay with a design, to stay with the logo over the years. I just think it's clean looking. And I think it says a lot about your program when you're not constantly changing uniforms and logos. However, Wyoming probably has the worst color scheme in the country, gold and brown.
No, no,
Maybe Bowling Green,
no,
orange and brown.
No. What I was going to say is I love their color scheme. I love that color scheme. I don't know why.
The gold's fine, but the brown is just,
yes,
it's just,
It reminds me of those old school Padres uniforms, and I love the old school Padres stuff.
I can go with that. I can go with that. It's kind of like the old pirate bucket hat. Love it, man. That thing is awesome.
The painter's hat.
That thing is great. And I'm not big on colored pants for baseball. You know, I'm a white or a gray guy, but there is just something about that pirate, the solid gold top with the black softball pants with the bucket hat. That's a great classic uniform. Okay, so now in my number 8 slot, the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. I love the fact it's got the big T over the state of Louisiana. Very, very classic logo. They've used that for a long time. Also, too, I've always been very partial to Louisiana Tech. There was a time where they were in the Western Athletic Conference, which was known as the WAC, with BYU and Colorado State and all that bunch. And then eventually it all ended up breaking up, and then the Mountain West was formed. But prior to the Mountain West, there was a WAC conference, and Louisiana Tech was in the WAC. And so they were the only team from this area that was in the WAC. I mean, they were out there playing BYU, Hawaii, Colorado State, and all those teams out there. So I always kind of had an affinity for Louisiana Tech, you know, kind of representing the South and these Sunbelt states down here. But I always loved great color scheme too, red, white, and blue. Hard to go against that, just like my South Alabama Jaguars, red, white, and blue. Number 7, the USF Bulls. That's a great bull logo. Good color scheme too. That green and gold together like that. And that the logo, they've used that logo for quite a while at South Florida. Number 6, the UTEP Miners. I love the pickaxe in the design. Okay, again, I love that pickaxe. That is the T in the UTEP is the pickaxe for the miner. And again, little bit of partiality here. UTEP played in our bowl game one year. They played the Toledo Rockets. And guess who the coach at UTEP was? The guy we were talking about the other day.
Was it Mike Price?
It was Mike Price.
He actually coached a game.
He was Mike Pro. Hey, when he was at UTEP, they were in
They were pretty good,
and they were pretty decent. They were
Yeah.
pretty viable in their conference. And, again, they played here, and I just thought it was so ironic that he played here because Mobile is an Alabama town, and
Not only that, it's only an hour or so away from Pensacola, and where he was,
oh yeah, no
throwing it up, I
doubt.
guess.
The place, the actual place was, I think it was at Destin. A
Destin?
little.
Okay.
So if you don't know your geography, not trying to talk down anybody, but Destin is about an hour east of Pensacola, and I think it was a little bit close. I've actually living down here, we frequent that area, and I used to know the name of the place. I can't remember. It's been so long ago, but I've actually ridden by there a few times and saw the place.
Hey, actually, when he was in that bowl game, the strip club wouldn't let him in when he was with UTEP. You want to know why? Because he was a minor.
Oh wow, very good.
All right.
Well played, sir. Well played.
All right.
Okay, number 5, the UTSA Roadrunners. Again, I'm a little bit of a bias here, but the Roadrunners, Chad and I, we went to middle school. We were the Azalea Roadrunners. So
I knew exactly where this was going.
Absolutely. And but they do have a pretty cool design. I like the blue. It's a real dark blue. It's like a midnight blue. And then on top of that, they just have the head of the Roadrunner on, and I never thought I could say this, but it was kind of a mean looking Roadrunner. It's not you don't see the skinny little legs or anything. It's just kind of a scowl on his face, and I kind of like that. Number 4, my South Alabama Jaguars. Not only do they have a good, clean Jaguar logo, but they also do the city helmet, where they do the city skyline on one side, and I've always thought that looks so good. It's pretty cool. It's very different, but yet it goes with the theme for South Alabama that this is our city. Number 3, the Tulane Green Wave. Anybody who has a knockoff Gumby on their helmet is,
I like it.
I mean,
I love it.
It's pretty childish, but it's great at the same time because it's catchy. And of course, I like the color scheme, the green with the blue. Their blue uniform that they wear, that blue top, looks awesome with that helmet. So
yes,
very very good tip of the cap there to the Tulane Green Wave. Number 2, when Army and Navy do their rivalry helmets, because we've seen Top Gun helmets, we've seen the
I think they've had the leather helmets.
they did that.
Helmet.
They did that one time. They do the battalion helmets. They do the Blue Angels. The Blue Angel helmet that Navy wore the year they played in the snow, and it came down to a field goal, and I think Navy missed a field goal at the end, but they had the Blue Angel helmets. That's probably the cleanest helmet I've ever seen. They did the Top Gun helmets one year. I mean, just phenomenal. I'm not big on rotating helmets, but the way and changing the logos and designs and all that, but the way they do it every year, they do it in such a clean, classy looking way. And you already know, because what they're going to do is they are going to have helmets and uniforms specifically designed to represent some form within the branch of their service. And I've always thought that was so cool. And of course, the number 1 helmet. And if I were doing just a top 10 list, it would actually be number 3 on my all-time list.
Can I guess?
If I were combining both, go ahead, Chad.
Troy Trojans.
No. No, we don't speak too much of Troy. That's the rival, man. Come on, we got a battle for the belt. But
that's why I said it.
But my number 1 G5 helmet is the Air Force Falcons. That lightning bolt on that helmet, and that's a nice color blue they have.
Yeah.
They have not changed that logo as long as I've been alive. That is all they have worn, except for if they've done any kind of specialty thing with a service academy. but just the white helmet with that blue lightning bolt, man, that thing is just so clean, so sharp. Love it, absolutely love it. And the thing of it is when you see that logo, you know exactly who it is. I mean, if you follow college football, you know exactly. You don't have to guess. They hadn't, and that's the thing with most of these teams is their logos have been the same for a period good period of time, and they're not trying to use tricks and gimmicks. They're pretty clean. Maybe Tulane. Maybe Tulane. They've kind of changed their logo. They've gone for they use the T with the wave on it because they're the green wave, but then they also use the Gumby lookalike. But
Oh, and they've also used a third one. They've used a pelican.
yeah, they did that for a while. But I'm big on the Gumby. I like the Gumby. I think I just think that's pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's like, and then some honorable mentions. New Mexico. I like how they have a that Lobo in like almost a triangle shape. It's just pretty cool looking. The Toledo Rockets. I mean, they put the little rocket ship on top of the Toledo. It's written out in Toledo, and they've got the little rocket ship on top. I think that was pretty neat. The Colorado State again, good color scheme, green and gold, and just they're another team. They've had that same logo for about as long as I can remember. Just the traditional ram. The San Jose State Spartans. I mean, they've got the whole Spartan with the spear on the side. I think that's pretty cool. Troy does have a good logo. The way they make their tee, it looks like a sword. The whole thing with Troy. It's a good fit there. And then, of course, the Western Kentucky Hilltopper.
Yeah. Grimace.
It's like a love child of the Kool-Aid Man. We're not sure exactly what it is, the Hilltopper, but it comes out and it waves this rag, it's it's just pretty cool looking.
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to the Mexico State Aggies with their little Aggie logo. Pow pow.
He's got a great
That's a cool
mustache.
one.
He's got a great mustache too.
Yeah.
Great
I like
mustache.
that. I think that's kind of underrated as a
Yeah.
mascot. All right,
That's
Bob.
that's a good one too. I mean,
Yeah.
the mustache, the dude shooting the six shooters. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, Bob. Let Jeremy, Coach Bo, know about his top 10 G5. I mean, what's there to argue? It's G5. I mean, my God, are we that petty? We're going to argue G5? Probably so. Let's know in the comments. Also, let us know which ones you liked. Which one do you think's underrated? And as a reminder, before we go to our Power Four, is we still have our May Madness tournament going on, and we still have slots available. And of course, we're on all social media: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And we have a list. The producers put out a list for everybody we have. But this is the thing: that list is not set in stone. If you have a guy, um, Jim Thorpe, you want to defend Jim Thorpe, let us know. Pick him, and we'll let you have him. So it's not exclusive to the list that we have. Those are just some names we threw out. So if you have anybody else that's not on that list, let us know because I know he said something about Charles Woodson on the other show. Charles Woodson wasn't even on the list. I had a buddy who loves Charles Woodson, so he took him. So I mean, anybody in college football you want to defend that's not on that list, let us know and get in on this because this is going to be fun. And you better bring it, like Scott said, because um, your opponent's going to be bringing it. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be probably one of the most fun segments we're going to have.
Hey, by the way, is Tommy Frazier on that list?
I don't think so.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's only 12 to 16. There's probably 100 guys you could defend.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
so I mean, if you're like, well, so and so is not on the list, it's only 12 to 16. You can't put everybody on, but that's the beauty of this. If somebody you like's not on there, let us know. Come defend them.
I'd tell you who I would defend if I mean you already know I'm defending Bo Jackson. But if I had to go with the second one, it would be Derek Thomas.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
season or his last two seasons, but especially his last season at Alabama. I don't know if it can ever be touched ever. I mean, he had nearly 30 sacks in one.
Yeah.
He had nearly 30 sacks in one season in an 11-game season, guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't
That's
like
that.
they played 12 an SEC championship plus a bowl game, 14 games. Played 11 games, and
Or
he
even
had
more. It's not like they played 12 an SEC championship game and 3 playoff games.
yeah.
You know,
I
it
mean, I
was it
think
was 11.
Yeah, what do you have? Was it 28 and a half sacks or 26 and a half or 28 and a
It
half
was
in one
yeah,
season
it was close to one
in
of those
11
2. I don't
games?
remember exactly. Yeah, it was yeah, you played back then, you played 11 games and then a
And
bowl game. You played 12
yeah,
games and that was it.
and teams didn't throw the ball like they do now. I mean, everybody was,
Yeah,
everybody was for the most part was still two backs running the football a lot. So
yeah. I mean,
incredible, incredible. You could probably argue maybe because it was really that one season, maybe the single greatest season of all time in college football too. So
yeah, that's a good point.
yep.
Alright, well, let's move on to your P4 helmets.
All right. So again, oh, and also too with the G5, if there was one that you like that I left out, let us know about and let us know why.
Yeah,
Um,
and don't forget, guys, this is his list. If you don't like it, make your own. Alright, go
that's
ahead.
right. I like to put that disclaimer in there because people have a tendency to get their feelings hurt. Okay, so we'll start with number 10, Arizona State. Love the Sparky, man. That is such an awesome. That is just such an awesome looking logo. It's original. I hate it when they do all the alternate helmets and all that. They have such a good clean logo. They could either do, and I would even love to see it where they do the Sparky on one side and the pitchfork on the other. Awesome. I just
Yeah.
think it is so good, and nobody's even close to it. Well,
Yeah,
there's
I
one
think
team kind of close to it, but not in that regard. We'll talk about that other team in a
look,
little bit.
I'll say this real quick. That Arizona State helmet, that's probably one of the most underrated helmets in college football.
Oh, I think that's one of the most underrated jobs in college football. I think Arizona State could easily be a top 10, top 15 program every single year. I think Dillingham's doing a really good job. All right, number 9, the old I call him the old slot machine, old Texas A&M ATM. The money just comes pouring out of the side. I've just always thought that was so cool. I mean, I remember going to the Senior Bowl as a kid and just seeing that huge block ATM on the helmet. And I just, again, so different. Nobody else has anything like that design on their helmet, and they've had it forever. And you just think of some of the history of Texas A&M football and the 12th man and the yell practice and just a very very tradition rich program. Um, Number 8, the Michigan State Spartans. Great color green, not too light, not too dark. It's like a medium dark. And then that Spartan on the helmet, that white Spartan on that green background, man, it looks phenomenal. And of course, I've always had a affinity for Michigan State. Growing up as a kid, getting to watch them play a little bit, didn't get to see them play a whole lot back then. But I always liked George Perlis, the legendary Michigan State coach, and then of course Nick Saban coached there, and then you got to see him a little bit more as they rose in stature a little bit, and always really liked Michigan State.
What about
Number
Percy Snow?
Yeah, Percy Snow was a hell of a linebacker, and man, he was awesome. I mean, he was awesome. I watched him one year. I think they were playing Notre Dame, man, and he had about 20 tackles in a game, and he was just awesome. Then he goes to Kansas City, and you had him inside and Derek Thomas on the other side, and Marty Schottenheimer was the head coach. Man, they had some good defenses in Kansas City during that
Sure
time.
did.
In the 7 slot, probably one of the most lightning rod football programs, the Texas Longhorns. Again, that burnt orange Longhorn on the helmet hasn't changed. Same one for many, many years. Tradition rich program. If you notice, a lot of these programs that are tradition rich, they win a lot. They don't change a lot. They're not about the flash and the middle child syndrome is what I call it. Hey, look at us, look at us. They just go out there and they win. Okay, because they know who they are and they don't have some type of inferiority complex. Number 6, the USC Trojans. When I just think of USC, I just think of you just think of all the great players that have come there, all the speed, the Rose Bowls, Pete Carroll chewing his gum a million miles an hour on the sideline. Um, the fight song, just so much tradition there in USC. Great helmet. Please don't ever change it, ever. Number 5, the Michigan Wolverines. Very clean design. Nobody has anything like it, except for the fact they stole it from the Delaware Fighting Blue Hen. Everybody knows that.
There you go.
But we'll give Michigan a pass because they're the higher profile team, and I like the Michigan blue better than the Delaware blue. The Delaware blue is kind of a more a brighter electric blue, as where Michigan's is a darker blue. It looks I just think it looks a whole lot better with that with their color scheme. Number 4, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I love pride decals on a helmet. I mean, I love them. I love those when they get those Buckeyes for doing for accomplishments. And of course, you know, a lot of times when you have those pride stickers like that, they're for on the field, off the field, for academics, community service, things of that nature. Also, too, accomplishments within the of course, the football program, weight room. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do, and I always love the decals because I just think pride stickers in college football should go hand in hand. I mean, I know Michigan does them too, but I just love Ohio State's because they're such a for Michigan it's the focus of the old leather helmet, right? That's what it's the design of. But Ohio State, the focus, it's a solid helmet and there's pride stickers all over it. I've always felt like the emphasis being on the pride stickers there. And of course they have the green stickers, which I'm not even sure what they represent, but I'm sure it's something, where they've elevated themselves within the program. Number 3, and this is a kinship to me, even though I do not like this institution at all, is Florida State. Great color scheme, the garnet and gold, great color scheme, the spear on the helmet, the pride stickers. Chad and I, we went to Davidson High School and we were the Warriors and we had the spear just like Florida State. We did the pride stickers, but we did hatchets. We didn't do the spears as pride stickers. We did hatchets. So like if you got a certain amount of tackles, you got a hatchet. If you had a big hit, you got a hatchet. If you caused a turnover, you got a hatchet. There was all kinds of things within the game. Then there were team goals. If we returned a punt for a touchdown, everybody got one. If we held a team to under so many yards, everybody got one, and so on and so forth. But I love Florida State's pride color scheme and pride stickers. Really cool. Really great for college football. Number 2, I hate this team with all of my being, but you cannot deny that helmet is a thing of beauty. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, beautiful helmet. They haven't changed it. And when they wear that green jersey with green jersey, gold pants, gold helmet, there's hardly a better uniform in college football ever, except for the next one, which is the number 1 of all time. Yeah. Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah. Yeah, I
They
was
have
waiting on
not
it.
they have not changed that helmet in, I don't know, ever, and never will. And that because they don't have to, because everybody knows when you see that, you know exactly who it is and you know exactly what's gonna happen. The helmet, and just like Notre Dame too, the helmets speak for themselves. And there's not many programs in the country that can say that.
So, back in the day, Alabama used to wear white helmets on the road. You in favor of bringing that back?
No, crimson helmet. I love the crimson helmet, especially on the road, because when they wear the all white with the crimson helmet, it just makes the helmet look that much better. Always keep the crimson helmet.
'Cause I know back in the 60s or 70s, they would wear, like, the white helmets, I guess, when
Mhm.
they would play, like, a Mississippi State because they had
They had the
they had
maroon
a
helmet.
yeah,
Yeah.
they had a red helmet, so, um, I don't know. I wouldn't mind them seeing doing, like, one road game with the white helmet a year just as a throwback. I'm not that wouldn't,
I
upset
mean,
me as a
I'm
fan.
not saying it would upset me or anything, but I love I especially on the road, I love seeing that crimson helmet because it really stands out with the all white uniform, and it just, you kind of focus on it a little more, and it probably makes people hate us even more, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Um, but also too, I've got some honorable mentions here. Um, and they're in no particular order. I just wrote them down. The Colorado Buffaloes, again, black and gold, great color scheme. And if you've never watched Ralphie rumble out of that gate and onto the field, um, man, that's a sight to behold. Okay. Miami, very clean. They've always had that U, but back in the day, they used to have them. They used to have a U that was specific for every sport. So like they would have the U, and then in between the U there would be like a baseball or a baseball player for baseball, and then something for football, and so on and so forth. I always thought that was really cool too. And then they just got rid of that and just said, no, we're just the U. This is just one universal logo. Nebraska, classic. White helmet, red stripe, red end, classic. Very clean. If I had to go in 11, if we were doing like if we were doing a top 15, Nebraska would have been number 11. I wrestled with Nebraska and Arizona State in that 10 spot. Um, Indiana, again, that's another one, that interlocking IU, pretty cool looking. Nobody else really has a design like that. You can put that design out there. You can say, "Oh, that's Indiana." They've used it for a really, really long time. Virginia, I love how they have the V and then the cross swords below the V. I just think
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool looking design. That's you know, you can take a good logo and you can really screw it up. Like I always thought the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I hate their logo now. Their old logo with the Buccaneer with the dagger was amazing. Terrible color scheme. I mean, they that franchise has picked the two worst color schemes in the history of the NFL, but they had one of the great logos of all time.
That
So,
creamsicle is legendary. They should stick with that. Bring back the creamsicle. That made them unique.
well,
You you
Chad,
you can't deny you can't
Who
deny
else
that.
wears creamsicle? Who else wears creamsicle? Tennessee.
Creamsicles?
Yeah, it's
No, no, that's it. No, 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 no,
pretty much
no. That
creamsicle. So
no,
it's bad.
no.
It's all bad.
No, that's throw up, or that's the inside of a pumpkin orange. That's not creamsicle.
Well, whatever. We'll agree to disagree there, and it all sucks because it's orange. And if Tampa Bay would bring back that old logo, but like actually maybe some normal colors, that would be awesome. I'd love to see it. Okay. Next, BYU. You see that big Y on the helmet? It's been that way forever. Go back to the days of Steve Young, Robbie Bosco, Jim McMahon. I mean, even before then, they've pretty much had the same design. I hated it when they started going to the darker blue and changing the decal on the helmet. Just give me that nice kind of royal blue with the white helmet with the big Y on the helmet. Just give me that. That's just a good clean looking logo. I don't like these ones that are like all cartoonish, like NC State. NC State looks like something straight out of a cartoon. It looks terrible. Whoever came up with that should be fired. I mean, it's awful. A big-headed wolf, like cartoon looking thing, is terrible. Anyway,
No, I'm gonna disagree with it. The wolf. No, no, this is where we're gonna agree to disagree. That wolf with the little sailor cap, snarling, that's a great logo. How could you not like that?
it kind of looks like some wannabe up and coming gang that's trying to be tough, and they're really not. Um,
Man, NC State's catching strays. They're like, "What are we're
yes,
just over here. What are we doing?"
yes. Okay. Next is South Carolina. I love that the big C with the just pissed off Gamecock right there in the center. Uh, Pretty cool looking. Again, nobody has any. So it's like, okay, we got this rooster. What do we do? What do we do with this Gamecock to make this whole thing look effective? And I think they maximize their effectiveness. Because it's hard to make a Gamecock look intimidating. Okay.
FCC is gonna get us.
Yeah, well, I think they maximize their effectiveness with the logo on that one. Next, the SMU ponies. The
Classic.
pony, pretty classic. I mean, even and every time I see that logo, man, it just takes me back. I just think of Eric Dickerson, the Pony Express, Craig James throwing money over the table, just all. I mean, just the most rogue program in the history of college football. The sad thing is they weren't the only ones; they were just the ones that got caught. I mean, everybody in that. That's why the Southwest Conference imploded, because there was so much. There was so much uh, cheating going on top to bottom. Next, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Again, good color scheme. Remind me a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've always liked. I've always Pittsburgh is one of those teams I've always kind of liked, because they've always done things the same way for so many years. They have not changed uniforms. They haven't changed color schemes. Iowa, that logo and that color scheme has been there as far as I can remember. And I love and this has nothing to do with the helmet, but I love the visitor pink locker room. I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great touch, and I also love how they waved to the kids at the Children's Hospital at the end of I think it's the first quarter. Um, cool touch right there, Hawkeyes, very good. And then, of course, the last one I put on here, the Indiana Hoosiers, the interlocking. I put Indiana on here twice. Never mind. Sorry.
I was about to say, I thought maybe something went wrong with the audio. I was like, okay, he's
No, my bad. I accidentally wrote them down twice. So that's my list for my top 10, my honorable mentions. You athletic directors out there, don't have an inferiority complex. Don't have the middle child syndrome. Pick something, stay with it, try to build your brand. Don't be Oregon. It's pretty pathetic. Because all we hear about is Oregon, 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 and their uniforms. But we never hear about every time they get in a big game, they get their ass kicked. You can have all the flashy, cool uniforms you want, but until you win something, to me, you're a second-rate program. You can have all the field night money you want. You can change your uniform every single game. A lot of flash, not a lot of substance.
but look, if they do win a championship, what number are they going to put on the side of their helmet to represent how many they have? So they got the big 0 on the side, which means they have no championships. So if you win one, you're going to ruin your brand. So I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
respect that.
Well,
I respect that
they'll
in a
just have to go
program.
back. They'll just have to slap old Daffy Duck back on
Ooh.
excuse me, Donald Duck back
Oh,
on the side of the helmet.
oh man, I think of all the things that we just said, you calling their mascot Daffy Duck
I didn't mean
may be the worst.
the,
Good God.
sorry, not a big not a big fan there, but I think that was actually more fitting of their program because that's where they got the design from, was from Donald Duck. It's Donald
Yeah.
Duck.
Yeah. But I'll say this, in all seriousness, their logo with the duck, with the Daffy Duck, or now you got me saying it, with Donald Duck coming out of the O, like shaking his fist.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's actually
That's a great,
That's actually a
that's a
good one
great
with the
logo.
green top and the
Yes.
gold pants.
Yes.
That's actually a good color scheme. But then they do the feathers and the plate metal and the gray. Man, stop. Just stop. How
Yeah.
about instead of focusing on your uniforms, how about maybe focus on winning big games? Or when you get on the national stage, your quarterback doesn't throw interception after interception, or maybe that every time you get into a situation where you can win a championship, you don't shat all over yourself because that's all they ever do. Now, I'm not saying that they won't ever win one, but there's an old saying like, money can't buy you happiness, money can't buy you love, money can buy you a lot of things. It can't buy you wins. You can go buy all the players you want, but you still got to figure out how to use it. And I'm still kind of lukewarm on Dan Lanning. I mean, I like Dan Lanning, but he's still, they got in that playoff game. That was embarrassing. I mean, that was totally embarrassing what they did against Indiana. And then, you look at their two playoff games. I mean, they gave up 90 points in their bookend games.
Yeah.
And, one of those was a G5 that shouldn't even have been there. And then, of course, they shut out Texas Tech, which, if I'm reading those tea leaves, tells me that speaks more badly of Texas Tech than it does good of Oregon shutting them out. I mean, Dan Lanning was treating that game like PlayStation. He knew they were no threat offensively because their offense absolutely stunk. Defensively, they battled, they hung in there, but Texas Tech had no real chance in that game. And he knew that. He
Well,
knew that. It's just like when Saban went up against Cincinnati, or when he went up against Notre Dame in those semifinal games. Let's just run the ball and go home, guys. I mean, we don't want to risk any injury. Let's just do as little as we need to do to get out of here. And that's kind of what that game struck me as. Don't matter if we turn the ball over, it's okay because they're not going to move the ball anyway.
Well, I'll say this, as an Alabama fan, I'm not bitching about anybody's performance against Indiana, but that's just me. All right. Well, we have prolonged this misery for long enough. And that is my absolute horrible bracket that I picked. And I know some Duke fans was mad at me for picking St. John's over Duke, but I know you Duke fans were also a little nervous at that game because St. John's was running you out of the gym for a while. But to Duke's credit, as any great basketball team does, and I'll give Duke credit because it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I pick who I think is going to win, and nobody has a perfect bracket. It's not that and this is the thing, just because you pick against somebody don't mean you don't like them or hate them. I actually like Duke. I love one of my favorite basketball players of all time is Christian Laettner. I love Christian Laettner. But, I just figured, Duke's every team's eventually gonna lose, and I figured that would have been the time for them to lose against St. John's, and St. John's let me down, but, hey, it is what it is. The left side of my bracket, as I said earlier, I have nobody on that side. I'm hoping if Arizona wins it, I'll be happy because 'cause that'll salvage my bracket. I know the braggart who's also in this, video now is gonna brag about his. I have nothing to say. Mine's a total crapshoot mess, so, Bo, take it away, my friend.
Well, I'm definitely not going to brag because once you get on that, you know how the thing turns. But I was the only person in our entire pool. I think there were 25 or 30 entries in our pool that had all four Final Four teams available going into the Elite Eight. Illinois got in for me, and well, I won both games yesterday, and today I've got Duke and Michigan. And so if they get in, well, let's put it this way: I really need if Michigan were to lose and Duke were to win today. I was looking at, I think that all but clinches it for me without even having to win the championship. But if I win the two games today and then Duke ends up winning the championship, because I think everybody in my bracket there was one guy that had three, and then everybody else only had two going into the Final Four. And so I think that would all but clinch it for me. If Duke just continues if Duke wins out, it doesn't matter. I win it going away. So we'll see what happens. And I took Duke because if you look at their schedule, I mean, good grief. I mean, the ACC is clearly not what it used to be. But I mean, they beat Michigan this year. They had some big games in the non-conference early in the season. And they beat Kansas, I believe they beat Michigan State, they beat UConn, they beat Michigan. I mean, that was why I went with Duke. I mean, I'm just, I kind of, Michigan, you looked at Michigan, they at one point this year they looked like that an NBA All-Star team couldn't beat them. They were beating everybody by 40. And I was like, way too early. I mean, they were doing that
Yeah.
back in like January. I said,
November.
no, they've
No.
peaked entirely too early.
Yeah.
Not going to, it's nothing against Michigan. I really like Dusty May. I think he's a really good coach. I mean, I think he's a really good college basketball coach. But I didn't take them because I thought they would peak too early. I didn't take Purdue just because I don't think they're as good. And I mean, they showed that Arizona just wore them out in the second half yesterday. I mean, just wore them out. Michigan State couldn't take them. I just didn't think they were dynamic scoring enough scoring. The Fierce kid's good, but I didn't take Arizona for the simple fact that nobody from out west has won a championship since 1997. Eventually, I know that's going to end.
Who won that one?
Arizona.
Yeah.
They beat our South Alabama Jaguars in the first round. But I tell you, this Arizona, it looks to me like Duke and Arizona are on a collision course with each other. And if I had to taking my cap off right now of who I want to win, just who I think would win, I think Arizona's got a slight edge on Duke right now, but that's why they played the game. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And I'll say this before we go. I wish Alabama had half the success in basketball that Duke has. I'm just begging just for one championship in basketball. That's not too much to ask.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, Alabama basketball's biggest problem is always gonna be Alabama football, and especially in this day and age, like, I was listening to something, the other day on, it popped up on my YouTube feed about Kansas and the financial situation of Kansas that basically used to be and guys, this is across the board. This is what's happening with the system that we're currently in, is that the athletics used to carry the university. That they I mean, because Kansas basketball is one of the biggest basketball brands in the country, but Kansas athletics used to carry the rest of the university. Kansas athletics would make up for, gaps everywhere else. Now it's the other way around. Now the university is having to pay players, they're having to pay for the sports, and the university employees are going, "Well, I'm taking a pay cut, and why? Where is the money going? Where is it coming from?" And people are starting to ask questions, and you're seeing that across the board because this system, the um what is it? The infrastructure that's in place for these universities cannot sustain this current model. And again, it's just going to have to blow up for people to fix it because I don't know that any of these schools have the ability to adjust except for just cut, 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 cut. And to me, that's not fixing it. That's just you're creating another problem. You're solving one problem and creating another one. So
Yeah.
so we'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, before we get out of here, again, our May Madness tournament will begin sometime in May. We don't have a date yet because we don't have everybody. We don't have 16. I think we're trying to at least get 12, but we'd like to have a sweet 16. So again, go check in TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all social media platforms. We have a list out there. Again, if you don't like who's on there, you know, put us a name down and leave us your name. Leave us a comment on who you want to defend. We're open to all that. None of, like I said, none of that set in concrete. So that's exciting. No rivals this week as a couple of I guess the producer and Feinbaum's got work to do. What a bunch of losers. So we'll have to skip rivals this week. And be ready for another edition of Brant's Breaking Point Friday morning. I will be on this one. I coach a little league team with my son, so I'll be in and out over the next couple of months. So with that being said, for Coach Bo, I am the Chad Bullock saying we will see you next time.